The performance of Gravity that John Mayer did at the Palm Tree Music Festival on October 4th is one of the best Gravity solos I've heard John do in a while, not just in terms of the playing, but the tone as well was really incredible. So today I want to go over and just do a tone highlight of this solo performance, talk about a little bit what I think might be going on in terms of the pedals and kind of a theory I have with the Marshall Bluesbreaker being added back into the mix on John's pedal board, and maybe what's kind of helping this tone be really great, because to me personally, it's, some of the best Gravity solo tone that I think we've heard in a couple of years.
Congratulations.
Now, one just special thing about this performance is that there actually was a proposal that happened during the song. It's so funny. In the full thing, you see John go, "Oh wait, there's a proposal," and then he starts changing the song lyrics on the fly, singing to the couple, congratulating them, and then even during the solo, you hear him play a little bit of "Here Comes the Bride." It just was cool. It's something very unique to this performance, just even on its own, which is really sweet. But the tone was wild. The playing was fantastic, as always, but the tone, it's just, to me, it's one of the better Gravity tones that we've heard in a very long time. And this is where my mind kind of goes theorizing, okay, as to maybe what is going on. And I kind of partially think that maybe the Marshall Bluesbreaker is playing a pretty big part in this tone, because when you look at the pedal board, thanks to my friend Alejandro, John Mayer Gear, for sharing these amazing high-res shots of John's pedal board, the Marshall Bluesbreaker, when you look down at the pedal board, if you're John, is to the very far left. It's not in the easiest position to do any sort of gain stacking at all. You would think that it would be at least beside the Klon Centaur or even closer to the TS10, and the 10 years would just be off to the side, because the 10 years is for Last Train Home. That's, as far as I'm aware, really the only thing that John is using it for. Leaves it on the entire song. He doesn't really need to worry about gain stacking with it at all. But the Bluesbreaker, you would think he would. But maybe it's because for songs like Gravity, kind of the Continuum era, we know that the Bluesbreaker was the bass tone for Gravity. That was kind of your starting point tonally wise, was actually the Bluesbreaker being on the entire time. maybe John's doing something like that again here. And it would kind of make sense because if the blues breaker is off to the very far side, he's not really doing any gain stacking with it. He just turns it on at the start of the song, or any Continuum era songs even, let's just say. And then that's what he uses for the bass tone. And then for soloing, he still does the TS10 Klon center sort of thing, but the blues breaker maybe is actually in front of the TS10, which would make the most sense to me, at least in terms of the signal chain and the way I'm thinking about it right now, at least. That's, I think, maybe what could be going on there. So for Gravity, let's just say the blues breaker's on. Then for the solo, to me, it doesn't look like John's doing a kind of wider gain stacking when he steps on pedals for the solo. It kind of looks like, to me, TS10, Klon Centaur, the usual stuff. So maybe it's blues breaker into TS10 into Klon Centaur for the solo. And that's the tone. And to me, the way this line of thinking is just going is because of where the blues breaker is. It wouldn't, like, to gain stack it all the way on the far left, if he has to quickly tap pedals on and off, it's not in the easiest position. So to me, I think it very clearly would be at least moved to where the 10 years is, and those two pedals would be swapped, so that John could at least do that. It's not like he's got to massively reach or anything, but it just would be a little bit easier. I could be totally wrong, but that's kind of the fun of this, is just thinking of some theories as to what might be going on. And the other thing to note that I talked about in the pedal board review that I did based on these shots, so go watch that video if you haven't already, going over these amazing shots of John's rig and even the rack unit as well. But in that video, I also mentioned that the gain of the blues breaker is, 1230, 1 o'clock. It's very low down, but then the tone and the volume are cranked, which is not to be unexpected for the Mark I blues breaker. The pedal doesn't have a lot to give at all. But again, very low on the gain would kind of lead to the fact that the pedal's more boosting things, not providing a lot of extra gain. That would line up for the bass tone of Gravity. And the other thing that John could possibly be doing for Gravity is experimenting with the Benson Amps Tall Bird reverb and trem. It has harmonic trem in it, so maybe the addition of this reverb and trem unit into the rack as well, with the switcher even on the far side off of the pedal board. Maybe he's experimenting with it over the Strymon Flint or something like that for some harmonic trem for Gravity. We could also be doing that a little bit for, like, at least the kind of main tone of Gravity, for the bass tone as well. Could be something else that's going on, but to me, especially the blues breaker, I think the blues breaker is playing a large part in John's tone sounding this good right now. I think it's no coincidence that we see the pedal get added to John's board, and then when from the Palm Tree Festival, we actually get really amazing tone, like the audio's clear, you can hear John's guitar in the mix very, very well. It's clear that his tone is really amazing, and I think the blues breaker is probably playing a role in that. The other thing just worth mentioning, Dumble Steel String Singer 002 back in the mix. First time we've seen that amplifier in years. All of my favorite Mayer tones are with Steel String Singer 002. Think of Going Down with the Rolling Stones, the performances with Keith Urban. It's just, there are so many really great performances. California Dreamin', he's used this. It was funny, my friend, the London guitarist, and I were just talking about the tones and everything, and he even mentioned, he was like, Justin, remember, these are all your favorite tones. This amplifier is part of all of those tones. And I was like, yeah, of course, you're right. So, it is, I think, John's, in my opinion, probably best sounding Dumble, just based on all of my favorite performances pretty much have included that amp as part of the amp rig. So the fact that we're even having that one, and yes, Dumble Steel String Singer 004 has been used by John, like during the Sob Rock tour, but the Steel String Singers are different. They're not exactly the same. They have different characteristics. They're a bit different tonally as well, However, Dumble kind of designed them each for the person he made the amplifiers for. So I do think 002 is my favorite for sure over 004, just based on this evidence. So again, just pointing things out that are new, again, or just brought back, I should say, to John's rig, that might be aiding in just why his tone is so damn good. But anyways, you guys, I just wanted to highlight Gravity and how great the tone was, and just do another kind of tone highlight performance on the channel. If there's any other ones you want me to go over like this, let me know in the comments down below. Any other, videos out there that you guys see that have some great tone from these festival shows, great performances, link them in the comments, message them to me on Instagram, and I can make another video going over it. But this is one that when I saw it, I was like, yeah, got to make a video on it for sure. So hope you guys enjoyed this video on the channel. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you on the next one.
Anyway, go ahead and click the subscribe button if you like what you see.